welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
Good morning, party people. Welcome back. It's Tuesday. We're ready. We're ready to rock. Did we actually? No, it's today Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Yes, today's Wednesday. We're off to a beautiful start. Did I sleep through my alarm? Yes. Did I think about canceling? Absolutely. But it's New Year, baby. It's New Year, and we're just gonna be ready to go. You're gonna just journey through this gravelly voice with me this morning. Who do we got out in here in this chat? I see Sneeps. It's Happy National Drinking Through a Straw Day, says Snoop Loop. Okay. Smoke Somatic Auto. We've got happy birthday to Denny Avdia and Dougie McBuckets. There we go. That's two team hold favorites here. That's great. Sneeps must be thrilled. We got Keeper in the house. Good to have everybody here. Do me a favor, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, all of those things. Real quick, let's do a little business before we get going. Today at 1 p.m. over on our Team Hold So Rare channel, we'll have the So Rare Sharps firing up. We've got some Shot Tank on that channel as well tonight at 9 o'clock. And then tomorrow, we've got the NBA Bit, normal time, the 89 Cavs at 7 p.m. And then on Friday, we've got the NBA Bit on this channel, the Underdog Happy Hour on this channel. And then at 5:30 p.m., we get that sweet live before lock to talk about our So Rare lineup. So a lot of fun stuff for the rest of the week. Appreciate everyone being here. Also, guys, we like popped off a little bit over on the YouTubes. That new channel, the Team Hold Sports, as we have dubbed it. I'm going to share a screen with you guys here in a second, just so you can follow along with the journey as well, because it's exciting. It's exciting. We have popped off over to, let's see, here we go. This is our main channel. You can see we're over 11,000 subs over here. If you go to, look at this, 4,000 subs. 4,000 subs. You got our LeBron video popped, our top 5, our Draymond. So over 4,000 is fun. And then our So Rare channel, we're now over 500 subs, which means we are giving away all of those sweet things. So get excited. Snoop Loop said, freaked me out a bit thinking it was Tuesday and I dropped my kids off at the wrong place. Listen, guys, normally I am 2 cups of coffee in when we start. That's normally where I am. And then I'm sipping on the third one. Well, today I've had a quarter of a cup, and that is not enough for you. That's not enough for me. That's not enough for anybody. That is bad vibes for everybody. So we're gonna do our best to chug caffeine. But let's get going. Also, we see Roy in the chat as well. Hey, Roy. Guys, what a game last night. We'll start with the OKC Thunder and the Boston Celtics. Even though more people come in, they're going to want to talk about it in 20 minutes again. And I'm just sorry. This is the reason you show up on time. I was working last night, and I got back at, I think I caught the entire second half. I watched the end of the second quarter on my phone on the N train on my way home, and then watched the rest when I got back. And I got to tell you that this feels like a finals matchup, and it's not one of the, like, the Celtics played pretty poorly in the third quarter, which we'll get into, but the level of intensity that there was in this game, like, I think there was a chance that, the Celtics could have just rolled over in that fourth quarter. And this is not me talking up the Celtics here. This was a great win by the Thunder. But I think I've watched enough of this Boston team that in that fourth quarter, when they were down 16 with about 6 minutes to go, there was no reason for them to dig deep in a regular season game at the beginning of January. Sure, it's a big game because it's against the Thunder, but I could have easily seen them being like, listen, we're in great shape. We don't need to fret right now. And instead, they kind of went hard in those last few minutes. And kudos to the Thunder, because, again, when you think about some of these, like, young team wins, these, like, benchmarks that teams go through, I think playing like a top tier championship level team, speaking of tiers, we'll do tiers here in a little bit, but playing a top team like that, they lost by 4. Stan's like really down bad for how Miami Heat have been playing without Jimmy Butler after they got waxed by the Clippers. So what he did is probably stopped watching. But I think they could have given up there, and they played pretty tough down the stretch. But again, to give what I think was so impressive for the Thunder in this game is that as they were closing in and it was tightening up, they hit every important shot that they needed to hit. Whether it was, I think they cut the lead to 6 with about 3 minutes left, and then Chet knocks down to 3 Then they cut it down to 4, or it might have been 3 at that point too. And Jalen Williams hits like a tough little bunny. They knock down all their free throws, man. And I just got to I know we've talked about it earlier in the season with the Thunder. We've talked about it with SGA versus playing for Canada. The dude is just unflappable, man. He he goes to the free throw line in like clutch moments, and he just refuses to touch any part of the rim. It's just net every time. J-Dub hit some pretty tough free throws down the stretch too. And it was just a really fun matchup, and I do hope we get more of it. It's hard to project the finals this far out. I do think the Celtics are the best team in the East with the Bucks right next to them. And then when you look at the West, yes, it's still up for grabs, but to me, the Thunder and the Nuggets and then the Wolves right behind them are like the 3 best teams in there. And I don't know. I mean, 7 games of that, man, sign me up. I don't know if this was the first time. If this was the first time a lot of people were watching a Thunder game, or like maybe they were watching on League Pass and it was commercial free, and they saw that they pray before Thunder games in arena. And I think I saw a lot of buzz about that on Twitter. It was a lot of people being like, wow, that's weird. And then a lot of people being like, why is praying weird? And then they're like, you're weird for thinking it's weird, but it's actually weirder for you thinking that it's weird, that it's weird. So a lot of that. It was a lot of that on Twitter. So between that and Aaron Rodgers, I just might take the day off of Twitter tomorrow. But yeah, just anyways, but a wild game. Let's hit some of the stats here quickly from last night's game. So SGA, we talked about it in the morning. I was a little hesitant to put SGA in any of my pick'ems because I was like, maybe this is a game where J-Dub or Giddy or that crew goes off because, they've got White and Holiday on them. It didn't matter. SGA goes for 36, 7, and 6. He had a great game. Giddy had 23, 8, and 6. J-Dub, again, I think he only had 16 it was, but it felt like most of them came in the fourth quarter. And it was, again, man, just so. Did I say Giddy's numbers? Now, see, can you tell I haven't had my caffeine yet? Giddy with 23, 8, and 6. On the Celtics side of things, it was funny. It didn't feel like Tatum was having a good game. And then I looked up in the third quarter and he had 30. So he finished the game, or in the fourth quarter, he had 30, 13, and 8. Porzingis, we did call out the good Porzingis game. He hit more than 2 threes. He had more than 2 blocks. He finished the game with 34, 10, and 3. And then Derek White had 19 and 6. Pretty bad Jaylen Brown game. Jaylen Brown didn't really bring that intensity that we love to see. And so if you wanted to nitpick for the Celtics, that would be a place to do it. But again, now, dude, the Thunder are officially a game back in the Western Conference now behind the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm just going to highlight some of the teams that they've beaten so far this season. So they've won 5 in a row. And in those 5, they beat the Celtics, the Brooklyn Nets, whatever, Denver, the Knicks, and the Timberwolves. I mean, those are like, the Timberwolves and the Celtics, 2 of the best teams in the league right now. I mean, I'm sorry. The Timberwolves, Nuggets, and Celtics are 3 of the 4 best teams in the league right now. And then the New York Knicks, a playoff team as well. And then they had a loss to the Lakers, and then they beat the Clippers. They beat the Grizzlies. They beat Denver again on that game-winning shot. They lost to the Kings, but then beat the Jazz, the Warriors. They took a L to the Rockets. They beat the Mavericks, the Lakers. They beat the Warriors a couple of times this year. It's just they are a legit team, man. They are a legit team, and I think, you're seeing every podcast talk about them now. Like Zach Lowe had Tim McMahon on and was talking about how like maybe they don't need to make a move. Maybe they're not. Maybe like we were saying it at the beginning of the season when we had Andrew Schlecht from the Athletic and Down to Dunk pod come on and talk. He was like, maybe they're just going to wait and see. They're going to wait and see. And maybe they just don't need to. They already have their big 3 in SGA, Chet, and J-Dub. And that roster is just legit. Have they beat the Heat yet? That's a great question. I don't think they've played Miami yet. That's a great question, though, Snoop Blue, because you are not a real basketball team until you play Miami. Steve said, have you seen the new Percy Jackson Knicks and the finals breakdown? Supposedly in the Percy Jackson timeline in some new show, they have the Knicks playing in the finals. There you go. Guys, can we bet on that? That's what I want to know. But man, it was a fun game to watch. And I tweeted this out that I was like, I feel smart that the OKC Thunder won last night, but I feel sad, smart for my Thunder, sad for my Celtics. But we are remembering that I believe it was a 30-1, 35-1 ticket that we put in for the Thunder to win the Western Conference in the regular season. That feels juicy. That feels juicy. Maddie says they got Davis Bertans, Lou Dort, and a handful of picks for Cade and Boyan. Yeah, I don't think Cade makes sense, though. I mean, that is kind of fun. I don't think Cade makes sense, though. I do think Boyan makes sense. I think somebody like Boyan, like they don't want someone that's going to come in and kind of disrupt the flow of that offense. They're going to need to fit in. Right. That's why Lord Markkanen was kind of intriguing, but I don't think they're going to do that either. I could see them just getting another big that again, won't start, obviously, but just kind of like thrown in there. Stan says the Thunder are not ready for the Nuggets yet. The Thunder have beaten the Nuggets 1-2. They played them 3 times or 2 times, and they've beaten them both times, I think, or maybe they're 2-1 against the Nuggets. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, the playoffs are a different beast, right? And this team is yet to. They tasted the play-in game last season. They've yet to play like a real playoff series. I think SGA played in the playoffs once with the Clippers, maybe, and then once with the Thunder in that bubble year with CP3 and Dennis Schroeder on the team, right? Lou Dort, I think that's the only playoff series he's played in. And then other than that, I don't think they've played in any other playoff series. So we'll see. Yeah, Nug Life says the Thunder are about to go on the road for 11 out of 15 in the rest of this month. Yeah, that is a good point. Like when we look at their, if I go back to the standings here for a second, I know I'm not sharing screen, but the Thunder are 14-5 at home, so it's 19 games at home. They're 9-4 on the road. They've only played 13 games on the road, so that's definitely a fair point by Nug. So their schedule might have been tough, however, at least it's been at home for the most part. Here, let's rattle off some of their games too. So they're at Atlanta, at Brooklyn, at Washington. Okay, so bunch of dog shit right there. But then here you go, Stan. Stan, are you going? Because on January 10th, Miami #Heat Culture. And then they're at Miami for that one. So that's 4 straight road games starting tonight, actually. So they're in Atlanta tonight. And then they get Portland and Orlando at home. Then a little West Coast trip of Lakers, Clippers, Utah, and Minnesota. So there you go. Yeah, great point by Nug Life there. Oh, people want the Dort report. That's you know what? Again, I told you I'm a little sleepy this morning. So let's get a little Dorty reporty. We love it. We love it. Yeah, great point by Nug Life there. All right, let's if there's nothing else on the Thunder here and the Celtics, again, I'm not, this was just like 2 really good teams playing each other, so I'm not like freaking out about like, oh my God. The Celtics still have a 2-game lead over the Bucks. That was they're 8-2 in their last 10. So there you go. Yeah, Steve says, let's go. It wakes me up every time. We love a little Dort report, huh? To go back, like, I guess to put a button on that Dort potential trade and stuff like that, I really do think they'll stand pat for the most part. Maybe they move a tiny piece. They are going to trade Bertans. Like, that's definitely happening. So maybe they get somebody's backup big or something like that. But, man, the team's fun. The team is fun. They can play you so many different ways. I'm excited. I'm excited for what they're going to do in the Western Conference. All right, let's go. Next up, a lot of these games sucked last night. I'm just going to put that out there, okay? A lot of games sucked, which impacted a lot of my underdog stuff, which was a real bummer. But it was blowout central last night. The Sixers just beat the pants off of the Bulls, 110-97. So that's only a 13-point gap, but they were up like 40 at one point, I believe. And it was the Embiid show. Again, Embiid hadn't played the last couple of games. For you so rare bros, you're probably like, oh, no, I actually think Paul Reed's going to play a little bit more. Well, not so fast because Embiid is back, and he continued to score as many points as minutes, which is just one of the more wild things. Like, he's still on the season, has scored more points than minutes played. Which that's out of control. That is out of control. Last night, he had a triple-double in 31 minutes. He had 31, 15, and 10. Tyrese Maxey had 21 and 5. And then Andre Drummond is the only Bull I'm going to shout out because in a blowout in limited minutes, he still managed to get there. If you played him, he had 11 points and 17 boards. But Embiid continues to just absolutely dominate Andre Drummond. So I know we had some fun with the Drummond. We had some fun as a fantasy guy, the really good times with Andre Drummond that Embiid reminded us like what's real. Sixers, that was a good win for them. They're now like 3 games out of first and just a game behind the Bucks. The Bulls, the Bulls are living fast and furious, if you will, for a little while. They're still 15 and 20. They're in the 10 seed, but goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. All right, let's keep going. Let's get into the next bit of business. Wait, hold on. Did I mess this up? No, I think. What's going on here? Okay, sorry. Let's go. What do we got next? We got the Grizzlies and the Spurs. 106-98. Memphis gets the dub after dropping 3 in a row. John Morant looked like he got dinged up at halftime, and then ended up being okay. They were like really crowded around him. He was holding his knee, and I was like, oh man, I think he might be toasties. And he ended up being fine, which was good. Came back, had a solid second half. He had 26 points, 10 dimes, 5 boards. You had Keldon, big body, had 19 and 6 off the bench. Wemby had 20-7 with 4 blocks. That's fun. And then Desmond Bane had 24. But that Memphis, I mean, the San Antonio team just continues to be brutal to watch. There just seems to be no cohesion in anything that they're doing. There's no fluidity in how they play. It is tough. It is tough. Roy's just letting us know he's eating a sandwich right now. That's great, Roy. That's great. Good win for Memphis, though. Beat those teams. Try to get back on it. Beat that trick, if you will, if you're a Memphis fan. They are still now 5.5 games out of the 10 seed, out of that play-in game. So we'll see how hot they can get, but they're going to have to make a couple of runs in order to really have a shot here. They are, they're just far away. They're far away. Hold on. I'm trying to create this tiers thing. Okay, here we go. I think that's better now. They're just not giving me all the NBA teams. Mr. Miyagi was in the locker room. Wait, what's happening? What did I miss last night? What did I miss? But yeah, again, a bunch of bad games. Pels beat the Nets 112-85. Cam Johnson had 17. There's like nobody to shout out in this game because this game was over right away. CJ had 16 and 6. Ingram had 12, 5 and 5. I think looking at it, I believe the Pels were up. What was the halftime score here? They were up. So they beat. Oh my God, they're up 32-18 at the end of the first quarter. So they had a 14-point lead at the end of the first. Then they were up 25 at halftime, 27 at the end of the third, and that's what they ended up winning by. Brooklyn, man, I feel like sometimes you get a fun Brooklyn game, and then they just get absolutely smoked. Now, Roy said, "What's up with Zion?" I mean, you can't really talk about Zion's performance last night because literally like nobody did anything last night for that team because it was over in the first quarter. You're up. What did I say? It was 25 at halftime. That game was over before it started. So Zion played 25 minutes and he had 10 and 5. Ingram had 12. CJ McCollum was the high scorer with 16 points. Like nobody did anything. Jared's in the chat. Said, "Good morning. Missed the beginning, but I'm sure it was 20 minutes of Thunder love." Yeah, you're absolutely right. You should go back and watch. You can catch up after because the rest of these games are terrible. They really are bad. But yeah, that was God. I'm jealous of Thunder fans right now. You get to just enjoy that. All right, the late games were way more interesting. The Golden State Warriors played the Magic and they got a W. And I'll be honest, it looked like I watched most of the first 3 quarters, dozed off in the fourth quarter. It felt like the Magic were the better team throughout the entire game. And then you would look at the score and the Warriors would be like down 2 or up 2. And it was weird. It felt like they were dominating them. And it just you continue to, I'm like, why is this not adding up? The Warriors just would go on these like little mini runs. Then all of a sudden it was a tie game again. I was like, what is going on? But this is a really important win for the Warriors. I think they need to string together some games and they're doing it without Draymond. They're finding too, I think that their rotations now been moved around a little bit. So they threw Chris Paul into the lineup. They're doing a 3-guard lineup. They had Steph, Chris Paul, and Klay Thompson all in the starting lineup with Kuminga and Trace Jackson Davis, which means Looney's coming off the bench, Wiggins is coming off the bench, the pod god, Gary Payton, and Dario Saric. That was their rotation, their bench rotation. So played 10 guys. What I thought was interesting, though, so Trace Jackson Davis only played 24 minutes. And I don't know, maybe because this wasn't the right matchup or he was just getting dominated, but he only played 24. And then Podziemski played 28, but Klay also only played 25 minutes. I thought that was interesting. But again, yeah, it felt like the Magic dominated the first quarter. Warriors were up 2 at the end of the first. It was tied at the end of half, and then the Warriors had a 6-point lead in the third quarter. They beat them by 6, and that was kind of the difference maker in that. So there you go. What are some of the stats here? Sorry, I'm moving tabs around this morning. Again, ill-prepared today as we slept through the alarm. Paolo had a great game. Paolo had 27, 12, and 6. Franz Wagner had 25 and 6. Steph Curry, 36 and 6. We had a fun Steph Curry game. Late at the end of the first half, I think it was like as time was expiring, he knocks down a 3 and gets fouled, and it again creates a meme on the floor. I got to tell you though, some of these Steph Curry reactions feel a little too forced, Steph. I need it to be organic. I need it to feel real. I need it to feel in the moment. Okay. I don't want this to turn into touchdown celebrations or you've rehearsed this at practice. Okay. That's some part of the joy of watching Steph react to stuff is it feels like he's surprising himself in these moments. Okay. That felt a little too orchestrated, Steph. All right. I want you to bring that same level of commitment and athleticism and determination to your celebrations that you do your jumper. Here we go. Mercamia says found some new pieces to rely on finally in pod. Yeah, dude, Pajemski's looked great. TJD has been such a fun. It just makes me wonder where the hell these guys were. I mean, Pajemski's been playing the whole time, but like, where was what? Steve Kerr? What's going on, baby? What's going on? Okay, I feel like Steve Kerr and Pop maybe have not been having a great coaching year, but that we're all just letting it go. Because, they're GOAT levels, it's like them two and then Bill Belichick just been drinking too much wine or something. All right. One game left and it was light the beam with just a dumb loss. The Charlotte Hornets who shout out the low post again, because I did not know that this was the case. The Hornets had lost, I believe, 11 in a row. And nobody was talking about that because, the Pistons lost so many. Yeah, they were 1-9 in their last 10, and that was last night's W. They had lost 11 in a row, and they go in to Sacramento and get a W. And I think that is pretty surprising. Miles Bridges, that guy that assaulted his partner, the mother of his children, he had 27, 5, and 5. Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, who, again, if you are in one of the funniest things that's happened yesterday, if you are in the underdog streets, the way these drafts work, right, is if somebody has a questionable tag, you can draft them in these drafts. And then if they get ruled out, you get a swap. You get to pick somebody who was not drafted in your draft, okay? And you set your rankings and then it auto-fills somebody in, which is great. So if Terry gets ruled, not Terry's a bad example, but if somebody who is questionable gets ruled out, like Brandon Miller, who got ruled out, you get somebody to come in for Brandon Miller. What was interesting is if they are doubtful and you draft them, you don't get the swap because that's kind of like you're forcing it a little bit. That's the rule. So as Terry was doubtful all day yesterday, and then all of a sudden they were like, hey, actually, he's feeling better. He's probably going to play. And so then you were getting Scary Terry for like a 6-round swap, basically. So somebody that just goes off. Anyways, long story short, John Boy came in first, second, and third in the late slate of the underdog draft last night. So the guy that just shipped for $75K in underdog football had I think it was like $5K in basketball. So just a sicko run. But anyways, the Hornets, I believe too, this was like a little bit of a fourth quarter run. I mean, I know it was a close game throughout, but Kings were actually down 5 at half. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. The Kings were up 5 at halftime. And then they got outscored 36-26 in the fourth quarter. So again, pretty piss poor from them. Yeah, as I said, Bridges 27, 5, and 5. Rozier 34 and 6. Sabonis had a triple double. Sabonis, and let me make sure I get this right here. Sabonis had 23 points, 19 rebounds, and 11 turnovers. He added the turnovers into the triple-double. Congrats to Sabone. That absolutely murders a so rare performance with those turnovers being worth so much against you. Of the Fox, De'Aaron had 36 and 5. And then I'll give Chris Duarte a little bit of a shout because he had 12, 7, and 4. But I'm also going to give a shout to our boy, PJ Washington, who dropped a 17, 4, and 4 line. PJ Washington. PJ Washington. PJ Washington. We love it. Yeah, 11 turnovers is a bad week. Yeah, Sabonis. I mean, I don't think Sabonis is usually this much of a turnover machine, but that was nutso. That was a lot of turnovers. But that was it. That was last night's NBA action. Tonight, what do we have on the docket here tonight? We've got some Wednesday. Are we back on the worldwide leader? Do we have some ESPN games tonight? We got an ABC game tonight. Okay, girl. Wow, we have a lot of basketball tonight. A lot of basketball. Okay, so we have Washington and Cleveland. Can't wait. We've got another matchup between the Bucks and the Pacers. We already said OKC Atlanta. That should be a fun, fast-paced game for OKC, although they're on a back-to-back, so who knows. Brooklyn on a back-to-back heads to Houston. You got Toronto heads to Memphis, who Memphis is also on a back-to-back. The Pellies, they have a tough back-to-back. They're at Minnesota. The Bulls against the Knicks. And then that's the ABC game, Bulls and Knicks, which is kind of wild. Portland plays Dallas at 8:30. That'll be a fun one. Hopefully Dallas gets their shit right? And then we have Clippers and Phoenix. You got Detroit and Utah. There's a lot of basketball tonight. Miami at the Lakers. That's the late ESPN game. And then Orlando and Sacktown, both on a back-to-back. Orlando continues their West Coast trip. So that's tonight's action, which should be kind of fun. I'm going to pop over to So Rare quickly here before we do our tiers thing. And then the tiers thing will be the last thing we do. Today might be a little bit of an abridged show as your boy's a little under the weather. We're fighting it a little bit. I'm not going to buy your Rare. I'm going to get out of here, Roy. All right, but I will show you. Let's see. I get some fun sweats, but there's a lot of basketball left tonight. So who knows? Oh, wait, guys, breaking news, dude. Actually, let's do a mental health check before we do this, because this is important. I really wanted to get into this. So hold on. We can't go down this road. We can't talk about like how you need to have had sex in order to have responsibility. I just think it changes you, I think it changes you. Responsive Fringe W says, hello. Sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, views, chats, bots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Flexible and convenient. Order management panel, chat panel. Everything is in your hands. Turn it off, on, and customize. Go to streamrise.com. This is a really good chat. I want to thank Responsive Fringe W for being here. I think we can all agree this, it's early into the year, but this might be the chat of the day, the chat of the year, the chat of 2024. And I hope for those of you that are watching this, that are participating in the chat, maybe you're catching up on it later. The bar has been set as to how I would like to see you interact with this platform. Not only anybody can comment on what I'm saying right now. Anybody can have a basketball take. But why don't you get your hands in the dirt, dig down, get into some research, and tell me what are the best places that I can go for channel viewers, followers, views, chatbots, etc. All right? I need everybody to work a little bit harder, okay? Thank you for being here, Responsive Fringe W. I know you're an actual person. All right, I'm going to go over to So Rare here just for a second, just to show you what our sweats are, because we get a couple good ones here. I don't really care about this one. This is when our common pickups winning a tier 4. Who cares about that? So our limited contender is currently 4 points away from a reward. We had a really bad Bridges game, and then the Sandro play didn't really play out. But I do think like Drummond's got some room to run. Bridges should get up here a little bit more tonight. Jayshawn Tate is probably 22 is probably around his cap, and then hopefully Sandro can do something in his second game. But that one's fine. That's a few points away. Limited champion was just leftovers. We are in third in limited underdog right now. Third in limited underdog. Okay, so we had IQ drop 35, Kevin Knox 16, the Duarte dropped 31, Sam Merrill 24, and Jamal the Goat Kane. So this one, I mean, I guess Knox has a little bit of room to run. Maybe IQ against the Grizzlies if he plays. I don't think. I'm actually probably going to drop a little bit, I would imagine. So right now, first has 130. So we're less than 2 points away. But he also has Knox. He's Fontecchio. So I don't know. Maybe we can chase some of these down. But I forget that like tier 3 is for tier 3 is the best you can do here. But anyways, we got third in there. Our rare contenders at 15th. We were on the podium for a little bit. I do think Kyrie and Drummond both have room to run. Drummond tonight against the Knicks, Kyrie against the Blazers. I think Burks is probably capped out. Maybe we get some more run from Jalen Green. But this is a fun one here in 15th. We like that. And then our rare underdog, is in 66 right now. We're 13 points away, but one of my guys hasn't played. So Tumani Kamara, I think he's still questionable tonight. If Tumani plays, I feel like this has a shot at getting in there, and especially with one more game of Sandro. But it's been a fun so rare week so far. We've been crushing. We've been crushing early on, and excited to build heading into next week. And just a reminder, 1 p.m. today over on the So Rare channel, we'll be firing them up. Lucas should improve his score against the Blazers. Yeah, you would think. I mean, anybody that played for Dallas should improve. One thing to know, I was wondering if they wouldn't play Kyrie the second game, but they don't have Dante Exum tonight too, so they're going to be a little thinned out at guard. So I don't know. They both should play well. It's a great matchup against Portland, and I don't know if Dallas is good enough to blow anybody out, so that could be kind of fun. All right, the last thing we're going to do, actually, let's do one more ad read here for Underdog, and then actually, I'm going to do a So Rare ad read so I have enough time to refill my coffee, because I think I can do that in a minute, and that's how long that is. So we'll be right back. Today's NBA Bit is brought to you by So Rare. Daily fantasy sports is annoying. Constantly paying attention to injury news, who's starting, who's sitting, and just having to remember to enter your lineups each and every day. With So Rare, you just have to enter your lineup once for each game week. And instead of having to pay an entry fee each time you enter a contest, with So Rare, once you buy your cards, the tournaments are free. Each game week, you'll have a chance to win more card rewards to bolster up your roster. And this year, So Rare is introducing cash prizes. So sign up for So Rare today using the link in the description, and they'll start you with 20 free common cards. And by using our link, once you buy 5 cards from auction, they'll give you a 6th one free. So sign up for So Rare today and see if you can take down Mike Sorarian. Being weird here, but I think we're back. Let me just check here. No, it looks like we're frozen. What's going on? Okay, no, we are. All right, sorry about that. My thing was a little bit busted here. We did beat the Jazz by 50 in December, says the common man. Okay, so maybe blowouts are possible. Maybe they are possible. You know what I did? I went to get coffee and my AirPods went out of range. So then it was like taking a second to sync back up. It messed up my video. And we're fine though. We're back, baby. All right, let's go. Let's do some NBA tiers here. Let's do some NBA tiers, and we're going to name them together since I did such a shit job of that last time, right? A lot of ads on this. One. I don't want to get Whitlock, though. Jason Whitlock refusing to take an L is pretty funny. I don't know if you guys are following along, but somehow went at Katie Nolan yesterday. It was hilarious. It was very funny. All right, so let's label this one. Champs are here. Champs are here. That's this one. No enter. All right, what should we label the second one? What should the second one be? Is it just like contenders? Do we just want to do contenders here? More like NBA tiers. Well done. I feel like contenders is fine. We'll just do that one. That's like our second, because they're not champs, but they are contenders. Well, this one can be play in. Yeah, play. Oh, wait, do I not have to? I can just do that. What an idiot. Play in. Oh, no, ready. First round KO. Play in. Let's go play in. And then just lottery. We don't have to get too weird, right? Just lottery after that. Is everybody okay with this one? We'll delete this one. Delete row. We fine with this? No, I'm a big Katie Nolan fan. I love Katie Nolan. Fun fact, she used to do stand-up at Improv Boston, where I used to do comedy. And then who else? She's married to Dan Soder too. Or he's getting married to Dan Soder. I don't know. Worst category is Woat. Okay, yeah, Woat's fine. All right, so yeah. All right, we can do. Although I don't want to put the Bulls and Raptors and Woat. So all right, we'll create one more. We'll add row below, and this will be Woat. There we go. Okay, wait, oh my God. So this is lottery. This is Woat. All right, well done. We did it. Good feedback from everybody. All right, let's do this. Let's get the Woat in there right now. I think the Woat is going to include obviously the Detroit Pistons. I feel like it should also include the Washington Wizards. Right? I feel like the Wizards need to be in there. If I could find them. I don't. Oh, there they are. The Wizards. And then the Hornets. The Hornets, anytime we talk about the worst of anything, the Hornets have to be in there. I don't think I'm going to put the San Antonio Spurs in there, and I think just because they have Wemby, they're like free of that. Any disagreement here with these three? Oh, so you are saying San Antonio. No, I never did that. I did interviewed remember she was doing that show out of a tiny studio. It was in New York, actually. It was when I think I'd lived here for like 2 years maybe, and I'd interviewed to do some like social content for them, and I did not get the gig. But whatever, whatever. That's the closest I came to shooting my shot. I did not try to date Katie Nolan. All right, let's go. You'd say 2 in each conference. So the Spurs. No, I'm keeping the Spurs out. I'm putting the Spurs in the lottery category. I'm putting San Antonio in here. I think Atlanta's in here. Because I think Atlanta. Some would argue Atlanta in the play-in, not me. I think Atlanta is in the lottery this year. Because I think like when you look at the standings, I just think like somebody needs to make the play-in the East, right? And right now, the 7 through 10 are the Cavs, the Knicks, the Nets, and the Bulls. Now, you could tell me, I would say the Raptors probably leapfrog the Nets at some point because I think the Nets are pretty bad. Stan says Hornets with Melo as a playing team. Yeah, they're just too far out now, I think. I don't see them making that kind of run. Your Bostonian ancestors are screaming at that orange hoodie. Oh, because they hate women? Is that what it is? Boston base? Is that what that is? They hate women? This is a WNBA hoodie. This is a fire hoodie. What if the Raps trade Siakam? That's true. You know what? And they are trading Siakam. So you know what? Let's go the other way. We'll keep the Nets then. We'll keep the Nets in the play-in. We're going to put the Bulls in the play-in because obviously if they trade Levine, they're still going to be fine. And then we will add the Raptors into the lottery. I find myself rooting for the Raptors, so that's tough. We'll put the Raptors in the lottery. I also think the Utah Jazz, you could be welcome to the lottery. I know the Jazz in the West are right now the 11 seed. They're 2 games out of the 10 seed behind the Lakers. I just don't see them following in there. So we're going to put the Jazz in the lottery. Somebody said Lakers playing. Ian, I'm with it, man. Lakers, you know what, dude, again, not to pat ourselves on the back here, but if you guys listen to the Low Post, they basically had the same conversation we did about the Lakers. Like the fact that they are a play-in team with getting like real performances from LeBron and AD throughout is a bad sign. He explained a little bit more why people are upset with Darvin Ham. So I understand it a little bit more now. Also, this website, a lot of ads here, Okay, so we've got the Lakers here in the play-in. So right now, the Bulls, the Nets, the Lakers are in the play-in. I think I'm going to put the Warriors in here too. I think Golden State righting the ship a little bit, but I don't think they have the firepower to get into a top 6 seed right now. So I'm going to put the Warriors in the play-in as well. One thing that we need to figure out what to do with here is the Memphis Grizzlies. Do you think so? Right now, what did we say? The Grizzlies are 5.5 games out of the play-in, and that means they have to jump. Right now, they'd have to jump the Jazz and the Warriors, and then one of Lakers, Rockets, Suns, Mavs to get into the play-in. 5.5 games feels like a lot. I know there's a long way to go, but so would you put the Grizzlies? I'll let the chat decide here. Would you put the Grizzlies in the play-in or the lottery? Tell me, baby girl, because I need to know. Let's see. What will the chat say? Grizzlies are in the lottery, says Roy. We've got 1 vote for lottery. Boston Bay says play-in. Ian says lottery. Matthias says lottery. All right. I think it's going to be lottery. Grizz are going to the lottery according to the chat. Here we go. Let's fire it up. Put them in there. Memphis Grizz, welcome to the lottery. All right. What about the Rockets? Let's do let's do the champs are here now. Let's kind of clear the board here. I think for me, I'm putting the Celtics up here. I'm putting the Denver Nuggets up here. I'm putting the Milwaukee Bucks up here. And then I'm putting the OKC Thunder up here. That's my 4. In there. All right, hold on. Lotto, Ja impact not as big as they hoped. I mean, they do look a lot better. Maddie says Ja looking good playing lottery. All right, we're gonna stay with the lottery. But okay, for the champs are here. I'm putting the Celtics, Nuggets, Bucks, Thunder. Now the question is, OKC don't belong. Buck, yes they do. Boston base. Boston, you are biased. Boston bias in my IMO. I'm sorry. I know people are saying Bucks are contenders, not champs. Listen, I'm not a Bucks believer right now either. But when you look at the Eastern Conference, in my opinion, there are only two teams that have the ability to come out of the East. And if you have a shot to go to the finals, the Bucks have to be listed there. Again, right? Like you're not taking anybody else seriously in the Eastern Conference. I guess maybe the Sixers, but no one, sorry, Stan, close your ears. This current Miami Heat roster, I'm not really worried about, which I know will come back to bite me. But the Magic, I'm not, like Pacers, Cavs, Knicks, Nets, Bulls, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's either the Celtics or the Bucks. And if you have a pretty clear path at going to the NBA Finals, you have to be listed in the champs section. That's it. Because you've now made it like a 50-50 shot. You got to be in there. So I'm putting both of them in there. But the thing that what we have to decide here is Minnesota. Nobody said anything about Minnesota. Nobody in the chat seems mad about Minnesota. And I don't know what to do with Minnesota because I said this yesterday. I do believe that Minnesota is a really good team. I would like to see them make a playoff run first. But then how do you use that logic when you put OKC up there? And maybe people disagree with OKC, but I don't. I think they are legit championship level right now. I tend to agree with Ian that the T-Wolves are contenders right now. And there we go. I know Stan. Well, Stan, listen, you know how I normally feel about the Heat. I'm going to put the Heat in contenders. I'm definitely putting them in contenders. Chad saying Timberwolves over OKC. That's interesting, man. I mean, they both, listen, to give them both credit, the Timberwolves and OKC have beaten good teams. Like, they don't have, like, soft schedules. All right, I'm just going to do it. You know what? Maybe we'll create some drama. People will be mad, you know? We're going to put the Minnesota Timberwolves up here in contenders. I'm going to put the Miami Heat up here in contenders. I'm going to put the 76ers up here in contenders. And then I'm putting the Los Angeles Clippers up here in contenders. Also, I just realized we forgot to put the Blazers in the lottery. So let's get the Blazers in the lottery. I think the Clippers are contenders. I think it's legit, man. I really do. And I can't wait for that to come back and bite me in the ass because I was trusting on the health of Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and the physical health of James Harden. But again, the Clippers are 20-12, 8-2 in their last 10, winners of 3 in a row. I feel like they're listen, if they are right when they get into the playoffs, they're going to be tough, man. They're going to be a tough out. I think they have to be considered legit contenders right now. I'm more scared of them than the rest of these teams that are listed in the West, right? I mean, the Rockets, the Pels. I mean, I guess you could say the Phoenix Suns, but I don't believe in the Suns right now. I don't. Yeah, Tampax hats. Who cares? Who cares, baby? I'm pro periods, all right? In this house, I'm pro menstruation. All right, let's go. Let's go. I think the Knicks are a first-round knockout. The Pels feel like a first-round knockout. Pacers feel like a first-round knockout. I'm going to move the Rockets to the play-in. I think the Rockets are a play-in team. I think the Mavericks are a first-round knockout. Okay, what do you guys do with – I'm going to put the Magic in the first-round knockout as well, and the Cavs I'm actually going to put in the play-in because I think they're going to be in the play-in. What do you think about Phoenix and the Kings? I don't maybe I'm in the minority. I don't really love what I'm seeing from Sacramento right now. And maybe that's just too recency bias after what they did last night against the Charlotte Hornets. But they just seem very similar to me. I don't see any real leaps outside of the fact that, I mean, listen, our boy De'Aaron Fox is playing awesome basketball. So is Sabone Bone. Keegan Murray's been fine. I guess I want to watch them. Kevin Huerter went to the bench for Chris Duarte. I want to see how that plays out a little bit more. But I don't know. For me, I think I'm putting the Kings in the knockout round, and I'm begrudgingly putting Phoenix in the contender round. And I guess the thought process behind Phoenix, and I'll give you guys a chance to talk me out of it. But Phoenix right now, as we said, they are a 8 seed at 18-15. They're only 2.5 behind the Clippers, and they've done this basically without playing all of their starters. Now, the counter to actually, as I'm talking this through, I think I want to change my mind. The counter is they've had one of the softest schedules in the league so far. No, I'm talking myself out of it. You know what? Kings, there we go. First round KO. I know these all probably can't be first round KOs, but this is going to be the tiers. So for the podcast listener, here's what we're doing. We're going to start with the WOT, worst of all time. We have the Pistons, Wizards, and Hornets. In the lottery, we're looking at San Antonio, ATL, the Atlanta Hawks, Toronto, We the North Raptors, Utah Jazz, Memphis Grizzlies, and the Portland Trailblazers. We move into the play-in range. We get the Chicago Bulls, the Brooklyn Nets, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, the Houston Rockets, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. First round KOs. First round knockouts. We get Bing Bong, New York Knicks, New Orleans Pellies, Indiana Pacers, Dallas Mavericks, Orlando Magic, Sacramento Kings, and the Phoenix Suns. In contender range, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, Miami Heat, Philadelphia 76ers, Los Angeles Clippers. And then the champs are here. Beantown Boys of Boston, the Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, Milwaukee Bucks, and the OKC Lightning and the Thunder. Pacers not making the playoffs, says Stan. Stan, here's the thing, man. 8 teams have to make the playoffs in the East. They just have to. Legally, it's required. They have to make the playoffs. And right now, it's really hard to find 8 teams because you got the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, and the Heat. The Magic are in, right? I feel like those are I mean, I think the Magic are going to be in. That's 5. Knicks, Cavs, 6 and 7. So now you need to get me an 8th team from Indiana, Brooklyn, Chicago, Atlanta, Toronto, Charlotte, the Wizards, and the Pistons. You know what I'm saying, man? The real Phil D. What's up? He said the Pacers regressed after IST. Do you know, Phil, listen, I'm happy you're here. I do love that you're here. I miss you. I miss the first mint. I miss your Musk. Pacers have won 4 in a row, 5-5 in their last 10. They're 18-14, 4 games above 500. So, I mean, they did lose a couple of games in a row after that, and then they've ripped off a bunch. Stan says he's taking the Hawks over Pacers. So, Stan, in your thought process here, you think by trading DeJounte Murray, Atlanta's going to get better? Is that what you're saying? Because I think DeJounte's gone. I think DeJounte is gone. So I don't know, man. Yeah, and so it's not that I'm saying the Pacers are about to go on this epic run and represent the East in the NBA Finals. I just think the Eastern Conference is dog shit. Because again, an 8th team needs to make it. And we're looking at the Pacers, the Nets, the Bulls, the Atlanta Hawks, the Raptors, the Hornets, the Wizards. Dude, right now the Hawks they're not even in the play-in game. East sucks, kid. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm just talking up the Pacers so that Stone Cold can just like tag me in the Discord 5 times after he's just guzzling Viagra because he's rock hard about his Halliburtons. Anyways, you guys buying Top Shot debuts? What are we doing here? Raps over Pacers. Stan, dude, you're smoking the wrong koosh this morning, okay, man? Merkemi says maybe this happens every year, but it does feel like there are a lot of teams still figuring out their rotation at this point. It feels volatile. I think that about the Western Conference. I just think the East, there's like pretty big gaps between some of the level of talent. And I mean, I guess maybe, there's going to be bad teams playing each other I just think like when you rattle off the teams in contention for the play-in of like Cavs, Knicks, Pacers, Nets, Bulls, Hawks, Raptors, right? And then you look at the West, and right now we're looking at like Pelicans, Mavs, Suns, Rockets, Lakers, Warriors, like Grizzlies potentially. Like the level of talent is just so much better. Oh, this is a fun thought process. Matthias says we should do a petition to get 10 teams from the West and 6 teams from the East. I don't hate this, man. I don't hate this. Normally, I'm all about fair and balanced. But, yeah, we don't need to be watching more Chicago Bulls. I have not seen Saltburn. I haven't seen the dick, right? Isn't there like frontal nudity in that? That's why that was talked about on Twitter quite a bit. No, I'm about to go on a movie run, though. Kelsey's going to be out of town this week. I still haven't seen Oppenheimer, so I'm going to see that this weekend. And all the movies that have been – it's just going to be movies and basketball. Movies and basketball. All right, I think we did it. I think we hit most of the stuff. A couple of things. We're going to be starting Fast Break content next week, I believe. I think actually a week from today we're going to start. I might test it out a little bit in the Discord. But we're gonna mess around with some stuff next week, I think, with that. So stay tuned. If that is your bag, I know people have been having fun with that. Is it going to be behind a membership paywall? You're goddamn right. But we'll be doing some fast break stuff. Again, make sure you've subscribed to our So Rare channel, which is now over 500 subs. And then if you missed it, our Team Hold NBA channel, baby. Again, I'm not opposed to sharing it twice. We are just cooking over there. So this is our So Rare one. We'll have at 1 p.m. So Rare Sharps with our man George St. Ledger. We've got Shot Tank coming back as well. Team Hold Sports. I should have a video out either today or tomorrow. Look at this, 4K subs, 8,000 over here, 4,000, almost 5,000 over here. We got 10,000 over here. Where's the Shengun video? Shengun video 14K. Like, we're cooking over there, baby. We're cooking over there. So do me a favor. Subscribe to all those channels if you haven't done that yet, so we can finally make that sweet, sweet cash. And then we're going to buy a podcast studio, and I'm going to invite you all over to be guests. All right, that's it for today. I'm going to go chug the rest of this coffee so that I can be fully caffeinated and then just function as a human being. Appreciate everyone for being here this morning. I hope you enjoyed the 2 good basketball games we got last night, while the rest of them were all blowouts. And then tonight, we've got more shots at good basketball. So hopefully we get some good ones. And if you're not interested in the So Rare stuff, we'll be back right here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Hope everybody has a nice little Wednesday. We are out.